Okay then, judging life. Number four, what esports? Welcome, Reese.
Yep. As usual, mate. As usual.
We got that. We'll
Four
have
out of
that
four.
welcome one. Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
that welcome one next. The conspiracy guy. But today, you want to talk about esports?
Yeah. Esports. So,
Esports. So first, to be fair, my first question to you, because I don't know too much about esports. FIFA's on telly these days is one thing I do know. You've told me some things. League of Legends is huge, but what defines the esport? Like, what's the
it's
difference between
it's
the esport and just gaming?
it's a competitive game played at a professional high level, and usually there's a prize pool involved. So
Yeah,
that's pretty much what an esport is. Um, there's a lot of people that probably think that like the average person who don't really know anything about it would be like, what? Why would you pay people to like to play games and all that shit? And like, and for those people, today we're going to speak about how it relates and how similar it is to real sports. So, where do I start?
look, I was gonna ask you something then.
All
You
right,
just
go on, man.
already.
Go on,
I,
go on.
I'm expecting you to have like a. I was half expecting you to pull out like another laptop with like slideshows or screen share and have slideshows about it.
Nah, nah,
Um,
nah. I could have done that actually.
sort of what took it off? What was the first game?
Right, so it didn't like so. I don't really know when it started getting called esports, but I know when the first technical esport was. It was so the first esports was October 19, 1972. And it was
1972.
yeah, so basically it was like Space Invaders tournament basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I've heard about people did used
Yeah.
to do that
Yeah,
for money.
exactly. Exactly. So
It's,
yeah, it's
you know what
just
it is for me? It's just anything that you can beat someone else at is great. Like, is
yeah, yeah.
get competitive. I'll play FIFA and I'll really want to win and get cut if I lose.
Yeah,
I just
that's
don't
right.
not get paid for it. So I'm guessing the difference is when you start getting paid for it. So that's when it stops being a hobby and it becomes a job, like sport.
Yeah, I mean like so yeah, so this goes back again to all the people that think, oh, it's just somebody playing games. Like, I mean, it's really not that simple. You have to play it at the highest level, which means like so.
Practice the basics.
Say for
Like,
example,
you have to brush over the basics when you start learning more advanced techniques and stuff like that. So, like for example, passing, you have to drill that in like like somebody who does first person shooters, which is basically like Call of Duty, Valorant, Counter Strike, like games like that. It's basically just a shooter game, and it's in first person perspective, so you can see the gun and the hands, and that's about it. And you've got a little crosshair, and you have to
Mm.
shoot people basically. Um, they would have to practice like their aiming drills, or they'd have to practice if they're working a team. They have to practice like basic communication, like I don't know, same way if the fucking riot police were coming in your house and they have to call out this room's clear, that room's clear, do it all in a strategic way. It's the same thing on a game. It's exactly the same thing. But that
And
I'll talk
go on.
a little bit more about like the team-based shooters and all that kind of different games and a little bit later on into this, because we're just talking about esports in general at the moment.
So esports in general, you compared it to football a bit there, which is the easiest thing for me because it's football's the main sport I like. I
Yeah,
mean, football. The difference in football. So I always used to think when I was a kid, well, all these players are all professionals, whether they play for Shrewsbury or whether they play for Barcelona. So why are they not all just really good at football? Which they are, because if a Shrewsbury player come and played football with me, they'd be 10 times better.
yeah,
But then, if a Barcelona player came, they'd be a million times better. But they're still just as like talented with a football. They can do these things. It's down to how much you train, hard work, but natural talent only gets you so far. So
yeah.
with esports, how would you say you can sort of be that next level? Like you can just be really good on a game. Like you're really good on I always look at you when we're like playing like Call of Duty and stuff, and I think, oh, he's so good on games like this. There's me. I'm just good on FIFA, really.
Mm.
But then these esports players that are doing it professionally and get paid loads are then even another level to that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so games are fun to most people. It's just fun. It's just something you do, like, I don't know, to relax or whatever. But when you take it to a competitive level, that's when it becomes the opposite at times. It becomes stressful because you're trying to win so hard. It's a job, you know what I mean? It's some people's job. It's how they earn a living. You have to be at peak condition. Like, you basically have to do the boring stuff. So if you don't find something fun in a game, and it does get to this point because the levels get so high that you have to do boring stuff to win. So, I mean, it's not always that like that, but in a lot of games it does get to that point. So, how do I explain myself? So, normally when you're like rushing in on a shooter, you don't want to check every angle, or you just want to run in, you just want to kill people, you just want to have fun, like, you know what I mean? And like at the highest level, you'd have to check every corner. Like, you'd have to do it slowly, check every corner, because you know there's a possibility that someone might be there. It's taking it to the next level. It's doing everything you could possibly do to be better than the opposition. Whereas most gamers, they're just casually gaming just to have fun, and they don't care about like little mistakes. Like, they won't learn from their little mistakes. They'll just carry on making them little mistakes. Like, if you're a competitive gamer, you've got to learn from every little mistake you make.
But how do you make that? So, because I hate making mistakes on games and stuff. How do you make that transition from just being a really competitive gamer that doesn't get paid for it, basically, to taking it to that next level and sort of gaining recognition?
Yeah, so that's it's a big part. I mean, first of all, you need to start making sure that you're good enough. So by like I say, doing the boring stuff, the drills, like, and then you're gonna have to start playing in some kind of like local competitive scene. So like you get like, we used the, it's probably still going now. Like, back when me and Isaac used to play on Call of Duty back in the day, there's this thing called game battles, and you basically sign up to a website and you do like competitive matches. So it's not just go online and search for a game, end up with some randomers. It's like you put a team together, you go on game battles, and you play against other teams competitively. It's like almost like Sunday league football, you know what I mean? And then from
I mean, so I've arranged FIFA tournaments with my mates, and we've all put tenors in.
Yeah. But this is an actual platform, like, where you sign up to the website and you make your team and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's like, it's not really the way in. I mean, for example, League of Legends, it's got a ranking system, goes from bronze to silver to gold to platinum to diamond to master to challenger, and challenger only has like the top so many people in the world in challenger anyway, per region. You get like EU West, which is Europe West, NA North America, China, Korea, all these different regions, and each region has like a top 1,000 players or something, and they'll be the challengers, for example. And then you get master, diamond, and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you climb the ranks in ranked, you might get recognized, and one day you might get scouted for a team. It's literally like how you get scouts in football. It's the same thing.
So a game like League of Legends, you can play with the ambition to make something of it. Because like, I get FIFA every year, play it every year, but I don't think one day I'm going to be a pro on this. I should be very good for how much I've played that game. But a game like League of Legends, if you get into that game, would you say people play that game to try and make it, or does anyone actually play that game for fun?
Oh yeah, a lot of people play the game for fun. It's like one of the most online played games in the world. Like, there's definitely a lot of people that play it for fun.
Because it's just online, would you not think, "Ooh, could do something here"?
I feel like if you think you're good enough, like, so it's obvious if you're good enough, because you're high ranked. You're either high ranked or you're not. So if you start getting high ranked, like, give it a shot, man. Well, it depends, because like I said, once you start getting into competitive, it might take the fun out of the game a little bit for you, because you have to start doing boring things.
that you might not want to do.
But would you find it boring because it's a game?
That's the thing. Like, it depends who you are. You might find it boring if you're used to just having fun and messing about. But if you're so good that you can mess about and still do well, then that's a sign that, okay, you might be able to take up competitive gaming. But then, do you want to start adapting a different play style because you have to play that play style because of competitive? So you might have to not do what you normally do. You might have to learn more things, and then you might have to adapt to competitive, because competitive gaming is completely different to just jumping in a game on the internet. It's completely different. There's all kinds of different factors. Every game has the same thing, whether it be shooters, League of Legends, like MOBAs, anything like Rocket League, FIFA. There's all kinds of different things, and they're never the same. Because like, you're talking about people now who know the game like the back of their hand. They've played thousands and thousands of hours, so they start noticing the things that somebody who plays it for fun wouldn't notice. So then everybody starts doing the one thing, and it basically becomes they call it in gaming, they call it the meta. So basically everybody starts doing that one thing, but then someone finds a way to counter that one thing, and then that's the new meta.
That's just like tactics in football. So
exactly,
football goes in cycles. Counter-attacking teams will do better, and then possession-based teams will do better, and then teams that just work the hardest just goes in cycles of what sort of formation works. Back when I started in football, every team used to play 4-4-2. Now everyone plays either 3 at the back or 4-3-3. Sort of know what you're saying. The more you talk about it and describe it like that, do you think, oh, that's like football?
That's what I mean.
But then why? So the difference here then, because the difference with football is it encapsulates the fans, though, because you can obviously go to the games, thousands of people. Why isn't gaming so followed by people that don't game?
I mean, it kind of is, to be honest.
For me, that's the difference between gaming and sport. As I've just said that, I've had a notification come up on my phone from Sky Sports telling me something. Things like that don't tend to happen for gaming. Why?
Yeah, it depends. So it depends what you like. People do watch esports if they're not gamers, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch people,
but not as much as
I like football.
Yeah,
but then I'll get bored of it after 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Do you know? That's where the difference is. It's because what would you do? Would you follow a person or would you follow a team? Would you?
Yeah, I mean, like some people
follow a game.
Yeah, so some people support teams and stuff. There's like I'll say something about an organization called TSM in a bit because.
I remember actually. You used to follow that. You used to stay up late and watch it. But you're a gamer. This is what I'm saying. You're a gamer though. But why don't?
I mean, there's definitely not.
Gamers do this?
Yeah, so there's definitely not as many people who aren't gamers that would watch this kind of stuff. But I don't know, because it's harder to understand, I suppose. Because like anybody can
like sports play them.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can grasp the concept, I suppose. Like, because it's like baseball, you're just hitting a ball. Football, you're kicking a ball. I know there's way more to it than this, but you can grasp it. Do you know what I mean? And anybody can just do it. Like anybody can game. No shit. Like, but if you don't understand what's going on in the game, then it doesn't really make sense. And then therefore, like, it's like some people don't enjoy watching football because they don't play it. Like, obviously there is people that don't play football that enjoy watching that. It's the same kind of thing, really. But it's not been around for long enough.
It's about the level of understanding you have.
Yeah, it's the level of understanding. I mean, like a lot of people can watch, like, that don't really play shooters, can watch shooters and think, oh, like if you see someone aiming like a madman, and you don't play that game, you've played the game once, for example, like literally just picked it up and played it, picked the pad up, played once. You can still look at somebody's like crazy clips and be like, whoa, that's pretty mad.
Yeah, of course.
Like if you see the best at anything do anything, you're pretty impressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's when
cool.
And then so that's what I'm gonna get into next as well. Like I wanted to say this I say this to a lot of people that don't get why. So Sorry, let me talk about something else first because I'll get onto that actually because it stems off something else. So, like we said earlier, the first esports was in 1972. It was like Space Invaders. It wasn't even called esports back then. And then I've got another fact here. So clans, and which are now organizations. So take note of this. In the 80s, the first clan was formed. Now, back in the day, when you were playing competitive gaming, anyone could just make a clan. Like it wasn't structured the way esports is nowadays. So, like, if I'll explain what a clan is, it's just a group. It's a team, basically. It's a team. Like Liverpool would be a clan if it came to gaming. Like Man United would be a clan. So it's just a team of people.
Why just use them as an example? You could have said any other team.
There we go.
Oh, and you said Man United. What?
It's just to get the banter club going again, innit? You know, on Facebook. Nah, anyway, right. So, where was it? What was it? What was it? Yeah, so a clan.
Like clans.
Yeah,
first clans in the 80s.
Yeah. So basically, they were called clans now. I mean, but now they're kind of more organizations, and I'll get into how that works in a minute.
Is that more like NBA, innit? They're franchises.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But well, no, they're becoming literally organizations now. But
that's what franchises are.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Because they have their team that do the main thing, but then there's just, and even football clubs these days are just organisations, because then you have your marketing, your merchandise.
Yeah, exactly.
Your social media side.
Yeah, all that.
All comes under the umbrella, but then there's still a team there doing the competitive job.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Bang on.
So what made it get massive? Obviously, it started. Yeah. Is it because technology advanced and more games?
Yeah, so that's what I was literally about to start saying. So you literally asked the question I'm about to answer. So, like I said, in the 80s.
Not even planned this.
Right. So a lot of people made like YouTube videos and stuff back in the day, and it was hard to to broadcast your gaming, basically. So in 2010, that's when it started getting easier because of technology. Basically, live streaming live games was hard before 2010. Then all of a sudden in 2010, the technology started boosting, and we started being able to actually have the bandwidth on our internets and stuff like that to live stream games. So
and that's the same with everything else.
Yeah.
In terms of what, like, just technology in general, and how Elon Musk talks about how Neuralink advances, and so, like, because you just said the first competitive gaming was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's hardly progressed in 20 years, but then suddenly in 10 years, like, bam.
Yeah.
Taking over the world.
Yeah, literally taking over. It's mad. It's crazy. Like, I'll get to the numbers of what it actually is like nowadays as well in a minute. Like, it's just some insane stuff going on nowadays with esports. But yeah, so that was the problem. And then in 2011, Twitch was created. If anyone doesn't know what Twitch is, it's a live streaming platform where you can watch any game you can think, well, not you can think of, any popular game nowadays that's got like more than 2,000 players. You can probably watch somebody play it live on Twitch. And then people might say now as well, why would I watch someone play a video game? Right, okay, so why do you go and watch football? Because you're watching the best play football. Why do you go and watch baseball? Because you're watching the best play baseball. Why do you watch basketball? Because you're watching the best play basketball. Why would you go and watch somebody play chess? Because you're watching the best play chess. It's exactly the same thing with games. And you're not only like, if you want to get better, let's say for example now you know you're good at a game and you want to get into esports, you watch the best to get better because they know more than you. That's just facts. So you learn from the best literally by watching their stream. I do it myself. Like, I can watch stream about like someone playing a game that I'm playing, and after about, I won't do it all at once, but say after 3 hours of watching their stream and listening to things they have to say about the game, instantly you're 100% better instantly because you're listening to the best. It gives you this sense. It basically rewires your brain to the way you play the game to be a bit more like them because they are the best after all. Same if you watch somebody do stuff in football, you'll start copying them, wouldn't you? because they're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say, don't they, when something amazing happens in football on telly, they say this is going to be recreated in the playgrounds and parks.
Exactly. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's crazy how much it.
So why isn't it the same in terms of like news coverage then, and like
There's
TV?
been a bit of news coverage on it. I mean, it's big. It's a lot bigger in America and certain parts of Europe and Korea and China and places like that. That's where it hasn't really popped off too much in England, I suppose. Like a lot of people from around here wouldn't have heard too much about it, but whereas you go on the internet and everybody's heard about it, like, you know what I mean? So it's just
you think one day there'll be no physical sports and everyone just has to play esports and exercise the mind because people like to do physical activity?
I don't think physical sports would be fully eradicated.
No, there'll always be things like gym.
Yeah.
That's sport really, and people will always play football. I shouldn't say eradicate, but do you think there'll be a shift where like you see more esports on the telly instead of the physical sports and it's more popular?
I think they'll turn once the technology gets to the point where it needs to get to. I think most sports that you can play physically now, the only factor that stops you from being able to practice like all the time and stuff like that is your body. You need to recover. So I feel like eventually it will shift. Even like football, if they could get it virtually perfect so that the players are basically playing, as mad as this sounds, with their mind, then
but they won't enjoy it as much.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, this is why I'm
so
saying.
I'm not saying that. So okay, let's rephrase it. So say Liverpool have got a professional football team. Yeah. Liverpool have got a professional esports team.
Yeah.
Or wow.
Do you think that
teams are only represented by one player at the minute? It's just one person playing. Like, why haven't the Premier League just got their 20 teams all in esports Premier League and they're just doing the same? Because while it's been locked down, to be fair, while it's been locked down and there was no football on, they were doing FIFA tournaments between the pros and they were entertaining because there was no football on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now the football's back, we're not watching FIFA. But can you see one day people will be like, Liverpool playing today, gonna watch that? Nah, I'm gonna watch Liverpool esports actually.
In our lifetime, I don't really see it. I feel like people have to grow up with it. Like, a lot of us grew up playing football, do you know what I mean? Like, not as many of us. Like, yeah, okay, we gamed.
Grew up playing FIFA. I don't mind watching FIFA. I'm not, like, I'll watch people play FIFA, especially in person, but on telly every now and then. But if the Premier League set up, like, a Premier League esports and they had the same 20 teams and they said, right, it's going to be the same fixtures as the Premier League. It's going to go in conjunction. And it's going to be on telly every week. Well, a lot of people I think will watch it at first.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people will watch, I'd probably check every week, but not watch the whole thing.
I think the thing is, it's a bad example because FIFA isn't the biggest esport. I know we're talking about, like...
Pull up a video with League of Legends when they have their World Championships and people go and watch, actually.
Okay. So what, the stadium or the...
Yeah, like the venues and how many people go and watch. I want to see what it's like. Right, okay. Can't remember.
I'll get to
because League of Legends is the biggest, isn't it? League of Legends is the biggest esport.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's kind of hard to say right now because Fortnite smashed it like the last 2 years or so with like their world championship thing, their World Cup thing.
In fact, I was in the car today and they were talking about that. The kid who won $1 million interviewed him because at the start he's just like, I'm just going to buy a house.
He won $3 million.
So he's just like, oh, I'm just going to buy a house and chill. And then they've interviewed today. He's like, yeah, it wasn't as easy as that because tax. Just that's all he said.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy as that because tax. Welcome to life.
Yeah, welcome to the people running the world that shouldn't.
That's what he just earned that guy from playing his games. He has to give them some of it.
He practiced 8 hours a day, and everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, he's just playing a game." Yeah, fuck you.
Made him rich.
Play games at competitive levels, man.
Push people, because some people still don't understand why like sports are so followed and common. But
yeah, exactly.
People like. You can't cuss people for not liking gaming either. You can't say
I
fuck
mean,
you to people that don't like the gaming. They can say fuck you for
yeah,
liking the gaming.
All right, well, fuck them.
Like,
nah, mate. All I'm saying is like respect, like take into account how much.
Don't take the piss out of it.
Yeah, take into account how much effort some people like. How hard is it to be the best at something?
Listen,
like out of millions and millions of people.
It's hard, and it's fair for people like you who you sacrifice your sleep. You haven't sacrificed like people love gaming, but gamers get a bad reputation. I'll tell you why. Not because of people like you, but because of people like people. I'm not going to say names, obviously. Imagine I just said a name. That would have been terrible. People that do what I'm about to explain. So you'll still go to work, and then you'll come back and you'll just game. So instead, the amount of time you said, "Oh, I've done all night. Oh, I've had no sleep," blah blah blah. You sacrifice your sleep. You haven't sacrificed actually having a life. And you might. So even if you don't make it as an esports person. You've got a job. It's all right. But you have people that think that they're amazing on games and are so proud of how they do that don't have the ambition to get into esports, but also do nothing else. They don't have a job.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And they sit up all night gaming, and they're amazing at it. In fact, if they had more go in them and they do it that much, they may as well be esports players, but they're just lazy, but just game. And I think people presume competitive gamers are that.
Yeah, that's not what they are at all. In fact, most of them nowadays, their coaches will make them at least work out like 3 times a week and stuff to stay active and all that kinds of stuff. But yeah, like you're saying about like people like that,
gives gaming a bad reputation.
You just need a backup. You need a backup plan, really. If you're going for esports, you need a backup plan. You can't just have esports. Oh, I'm gonna become an esports player. No, don't work like that. There's a lot of hard work that goes into.
But this is what I'm saying. Do you think it will become more popular, and there'll be a rise? Because in school, if you wanted to be a sports star, you knew what you needed to do. You needed to graft. But because you're in school, you either did or didn't. Whereas the gamers never had that in school. They just liked gaming, and then they've left. But now suddenly, do you think people, when they're young, think, you know what, I'm going to game loads because it's competitive?
Yeah, I think you need a balance. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier as well, actually, to be honest. I was saying about your body needs time to recover in physical sports. Like, that's another problem with it, but at the same time, it's a benefit. You can get so good because you can put so many hours in. Like, if you're a boxer, you can only train for a certain amount of time. Your body's got to recover, ready for a fight, like, stuff like that. You gotta have training camp, then you gotta recover. You recover in some days of the training camp, like, you know what I mean? It's not just full on all the time. So that's the benefit to gaming is, and also the downside in some cases, like because of the example you just given, is you can do it all the time, non-stop. Well, I mean, obviously, there might be some effects to it, like your eyes and stuff like that might get damaged or whatever.
But how would you like? So for kids, if a kid was watching this now, 10 years old, loves League of Legends, what do they need to do? Like, how would they go about sort of, so they'd obviously play it and get good and rank up and all that. How would they then make that transition to joining a team that gets noticed and enters these tournaments?
Well, first things first, you need to get a high rank. You need to be top 1-2% in the world, to be fair. You need to prove you're good enough first. You need to hang with the best. And then after that, then you just need to... I mean, the easiest way of doing it nowadays...
it's not about easiest, just how do you do it?
No, okay, so this multiple... That's what I'm saying. It's not just 1 or 2 ways. It's not that simple. Like, the streaming platform I was talking about earlier, Twitch... if you get noticed on Twitch, that is the easiest way, to be fair. It's not easy at all to get noticed on Twitch. You have to be good and you have to be entertaining, but
if you get noticed on there, you'll definitely get noticed by teams. In fact, that is the main way nowadays. You need to be at least streaming, or you need to know you need to know someone that's in the scene. Like
Exactly,
they need to have played with you. No, but you will. That's what I'm saying.
How would you make a team and just conquer and just build without stream?
Like I said, win, it ain't gonna work. Yeah, no, it ain't gonna work like that. If you're gonna do it solo, you've got to get into the first part is get to the high ranks, and then you'll start seeing all these players and playing against them, playing with all the high ranking players, and that's how you build a name for yourself in the small community of that game. Each esport game has a small community. Well, not small, that's massive.
Yeah, but how do you get into a team, make it as a team?
That's what I'm saying. You get that's exactly what I'm saying. You need to get noticed first. So you need to get noticed, and then the team will they'll either come to you or you can go to them. Is like
what I'm asking is, how would you start your own team and build?
Nowadays, God knows, because this is what I'm saying. So earlier, I was saying that their organisation, it's not a clan anymore. It's not just simple, just make a team and then you're good to go. Nah, basically, like
all. Be able to make a team and build to it. Like in football, you get promoted up the league. Bro, Market Drayton could end up in the Premier League if they got good enough and kept winning.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, that's possible, but the way esports is now, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. All your players will just end up getting scouted by better teams, and majority of them are going to take the deal. Like, you'd have to have the money, really, now. It's too late to be building, like, organizations now in esports. I mean, it's not. Honestly, that one's a hard one, to be honest, because I'll just explain the way it all works. So, like, I'll give you a backstory of a guy called... the guy who made TSM, which is now a well-known esports team. They play in multiple different games, so like Valorant, League of Legends, majority of the new games that come out that get esports scenes, they've got a team in each one of them. Like CLG, that's another one. But I'm going to talk about TSM specifically because I like the story of the guy who made the team. So back when League of Legends first started, like let me have a look. I can't remember when it's 2009, right?
Pull up the video of the tournament.
Yeah, okay. Right.
So show us League of Legends while you're talking about TSM.
I will.
This guy, show them playing.
For anyone who's trying to understand League of Legends as well, let me just get the map up.
What is League of Legends?
It's a MOBA game, so basically it's just a strategy game, and you to most people it's just you just call it the nerds game. Well, yeah, we all.
Why is that the one that's took off and got such a following and so big?
It's just
there's thousands of people watching.
It's
millions of pounds in prize money.
Very competitive. It takes a long time to learn, and even players nowadays still haven't finished learning. It's a game with like some games you can play them so much and you can get so good, and there's not really that much room for improvement. This game, there's always room for improvement, and like I was talking about metas earlier, the meta is always shifting. There's always an update, so the meta shifts. So yeah, the trends shift in the game. One thing counters another thing counters another. You get updates which changes the game a little bit.
Shows as well.
Yeah, I'm gone in now. So, oh yeah, I need to share my screen with you. Yeah.
And then talk about TSM. Then this guy that you can show us. Right. So they won the world title. Have they been world champions?
No, they haven't actually. But I'm going to talk about it. Actually, they might have done in one of the first ever. Yeah, maybe one of the first ever tournaments.
Do you think gaming will not be taken as a real sport until you can get it more open to more people instead of just being restricted to these organisations, so that more teams have a chance of just creating them stories where they've started from the bottom and risen to the top?
I don't know. I don't know the way it's going with that kind of stuff. To be honest, that's quite hard.
People love a love story in sport, or they love a fairy tale. They love an underdog. But
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna. This is basically the fairy tale that I'm gonna say in a minute. But I'll explain. Let me just quickly explain League of Legends, right? Because it's hard. It's a very complex game that's really hard to understand. So first of all, there's probably about 150 different characters you can pick, and there's like they've all got different like abilities and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna get into that too much because I could make a whole different video on this. It'd take the piss.
So go on YouTube.
No, don't worry. Basically, the aim of the game. So there's 5 people on this side, and there's 5 people on this side, right?
Can't see it.
What do you mean?
Can't. All I can see is us.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, my bad. Right. You see it now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 5 people on this side and there's 5 people on this side, right? So in here, you get one person going up to the mid lane and another person going up to the mid lane. So one from each team. Then you get one person going in this is what they call the jungle, this highlighted area here. And you basically just go around and help your laners. There's one person from each team in the top lane. And then there's 2 people from each team on the bottom lane. So there's 4 people together in the bottom lane.
Move the window up a little bit.
There you go. Trust me, they
can
see
see
it.
like the top half.
Really? What?
You need to like pull your window up or something.
Let me just see what you're on about. Let me see what you're on about. Hold on.
But I was more saying go on YouTube because I want to see like the followings they get at the tournaments.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. So basically, the aim is to get up these lanes. These are like this is a bad example because this pitch is pretty shit. But these are towers here. These are towers. And like if you walk into the towers, you're going to die basically. But the aim is to get to either one's base. So you need to get all the way up there. But there's towers stopping you in the mid lane. There's towers stopping you here. You can't just run up and just finish the game. So you have to strategically take down all these towers or take down the towers in one lane. Like hypothetically, you could just run up this lane, take all these, and then take the base. But that's not the way it works. So the aim of the game is to finish this thing here. Get up the lanes and finish this thing here as a team of 5. And a lot of fights and stuff happens all over the map. But if you want to know about League of Legends, to be fair, just YouTube it. But that's the main thing of the game. So now I'll show you.
Play a game while talking.
No. Mate, that'd be 40 minutes.
Oh yeah. Okay,
40 minutes. Right, yeah. So games of League can last about 40 minutes long. Right. Anyway, so I'll just get up. Going a bit off like topic here. So what was the point?
You was going to talk about the TSM guys. So saying why you talking about it. Show us like so if you get it up on YouTube, you can show us the game being played and being watched in a big tournament setting. And so you can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Like,
No.
You know what you're doing?
It's because I could talk about this fucking. There's too much to it.
Nah, but I'm saying talk about it while you're showing us.
Yeah, I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get
good
video.
I want to see like, the type of following they get and what the crowds are like and how it works in tournament setting.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
How popular it is. Show the people.
I'm trying to get a decent video of it, not just showing them, like the game. Sorry.
For it to be sort of classed as like a.
Well, for example, this is the opening ceremony. It's got no sound, so.
That's better, actually. I can see fine.
You see this, yeah?
Yeah. So what's this? Like,
this is like the opening ceremony.
Is this,
they have like this proper. Yeah, like you know how like in football they'll have like the national anthem or whatever and all that kind of stuff. The build up. This is just like.
And there is quite a big crowd there, isn't there? Actually, looking.
Yeah. Yeah, they sell out. They sell out. When I went in 2015, I think. I went to the quarterfinals, and I bought the tickets online. I had to wait till like they got released, and they sold out in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane, man. That was where was that?
How big was the venue?
I think it was the O2 Arena.
Wow.
Hold on.
I think it was. I remember you going.
Yeah, Worlds. Yeah, so let me carry on playing this then. I'm just gonna put this on mute because it's a bit loud. But this is like the opening ceremony.
Yeah, so skip to a game. Skip to them playing.
Right. Okay. So them playing. There's the players and all that kind of stuff, and that's the trophy. And then, yeah.
Wow, there's a big crowd.
Yeah, it's massive, bro.
Why? To just sit and watch them game.
Yeah, exactly. This is what people think. I just don't get it. It's fucking you watching the best, do the best. Yeah. So. Right. Well, this is a game basically. While I'm. There's the trophy.
That's a nice trophy.
Yeah.
Nearly as nice as Premier League.
So I'll tell you a story about the guy who made TSM, which is now he went from being a gamer, like, to a multi-millionaire. Pretty much the same as KSI, but it's a completely different story.
Is this them?
Yeah, this is them playing the game basically. There's the characters and stuff like that. There's one person's character. There's no character. There's no character. And then here's the lanes I was talking about down here.
Yeah, so skip the start of the game. Skip to the good stuff. Skip to the gritty action.
Yeah,
this is the difference.
So this is like the fights and stuff. Like this is a replay now. And then basically they're diving this tower, so that tower's hitting them. I mean, I'm not going to get into League of Legends too much because it'd be a lot easier to talk about a shooter in esports. But I want to talk about this guy. So basically, right, there's this guy called Reginald. Well, his name on here is called Reginald. And he started basically what I was talking about earlier, clan, a little team on League of Legends back when it first started. And it was called Team Solo Mid because he was the mid lane and he's basically saying his team, he carries his team, he's the solo mid. It is a joke, but it ended up turning into a massive organization. So everybody else was just like I say, just gamers. They're just having fun. They didn't really see the potential where this could possibly go. They didn't understand that this could become massive. And he did. He knew it was remember watching a video. Bloody hell, I can't get my fucking words out. Once I remember watching a video of him, and one of his teammates was gonna quit because he said, "Well, there's no end game to this," and he said, "Like at some point, I've got to go and continue with life, get a job, and all this kind of stuff." And he's like, "I just don't like. It's taking up too much of my time." And then he said to him, he's like, "Nah, trust me. I guarantee you that it'll be worth it in the end. Just stick with us and trust me. The big things will come of this," and all that kind of stuff. Gave him that like kind of like motivational type speech. And then he ended up building his small little team over the years as League of Legends grew. He ended up building his small team into an organization called TSM. He left competitive play quite early on. I think it was season 3, and we're now on season 11 or something like that. And in season 3, he stopped playing competitively, and he scouted a better mid laner who's still playing for them now. Who's absolutely insane at the game. And he basically, the TSM's just worth multi-millions now. And he was just basically just a gamer, winning like $200 or something stupid like that at a tournament. And then now he's a multi-millionaire because he made this organization. That's the type of thing that he did. It's crazy, man.
But to be sort of like that is good, and that happens. Surely to be classed as like a proper sport, to get big following, it can't just be the odd tournaments and then the World Championships once a year. Like surely they've got to go to a bigger scale and have like leagues and.
Oh no, they do. So this is.
And broadcast it all, not just the finals and the big ones.
No, they do. They do.
So why is it not?
What are you saying, Judge? You're breaking up. Oh my god. Well, at some point he will be back.
Yeah, we froze
Hello.
it.
Yeah. So what was you saying? That's so why
So why isn't it like everywhere? Do you know what I mean? Why is
No,
it
right.
not?
This is the problem. You say everywhere, right? You mean TV. TV is slowly dying, right? Like people watch Twitch, like how much?
Oh,
I
you
don't
watch
even know the
telly?
numbers.
All I watch on telly is football.
There you go. It's dying, right? If you go on the internet, like any like YouTube, for example, it's fucking everywhere. It's literally everywhere. Everybody's watching like gaming videos and stuff like that. Even like KSI will like do little gaming videos every now and again because he knows it's still popular. Do you know what I mean?
So what's next?
What do you mean?
What's next for gaming?
Yeah. So, well, hold on. Let me get into some numbers. So that just to put it into perspective.
The numbers will tell you where it's going.
Yeah. So, in 2015, right, there was 36 million that watched League of Legends World Championships. That was actually the year that I went as well. No way. Yeah, so that's 36 million watched, and that's just what. Remember, this is just one game. Each game is a different esport. Like, so, like this is just one of them. You got Dota. You got League of Legends.
One as an example, though.
Yeah.
Make it easier.
Yeah, to make it more like into perspective. But
no, it's like, well, I'm using football, but people know there's cricket, rugby, tennis.
Exactly.
But I'm using football because in England it's the one. Like, do you know what I mean? Exactly. In esports, League of Legends is. I know you say about Fortnite for the last couple of years, but League of Legends has been consistent.
Yeah, it's been consistent. Yeah,
good following, big following.
Yeah, same as Dota 2, which is a very similar game. They're both called MOBA games. That's another big following. There's some massive prize pools in Dota. In fact, the prize pools are a bit bigger, but I'll talk about that in a sec. Right, so 36 million just for LoL Worlds. That year, NBA pulled in 23 million. So already it's beaten NBA. The World Series Baseball, 17 million. Beat that as well. And NHL had 8 million. So actually, it did better than NBA and NHL put together. Just one game. So that's what kind of numbers it's got to in 2015.
The thing for me, them sports, mainly American.
Yeah.
How I mean, compared to global sports. No, I mean NBA is global.
I was gonna say this is a World Series baseball. That's kind of global.
But it's not. This is America's problem with themselves. They call it the World Series, but it's just America. Like America haven't gone and played England at baseball. American teams.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? America's weird. So but then you've got your sports like tennis, Formula One, football, rugby, cricket, that all the countries do compete against each other. Of course, the Olympics. How's it sort of compared to them sorts of sports in terms of viewing?
I don't actually know, so I'm gonna have a look now.
So that was the World Championship. So that's the top of the top. So compare it to like the Rugby World Cup final or Football World Cup final or Wimbledon in tennis. Do you know what I mean? You'd find the viewers. It's probably around the same still.
Nah, I don't think so. Because this, to be fair, as well, just remember this is just one game. So like, I don't expect it to be in like, I don't know, World Championship tennis or anything like that.
But I bet things like Wimbledon.
In fact,
I bet things like Wimbledon it does. Because what you got to think is, if a lot of these people are Chinese that like it, China's got more people than most of the rest of the. Not most of the rest of the world, but like most of Europe.
I'm trying to find the tennis views now. Why does it not give you a simple answer like when you search on the internet?
Don't know.
What's World Tennis Championship even called?
So you have your 4 major tournaments. So you got Wimbledon, the French Open, Australian Open, and American Open. It's compared to the American Open actually, because it's the American sports you're on about.
It's hard to get numbers here.
It's all false.
It's probably American Open.
American
US
Open. US Open Championship 2009. US. Doesn't say. It doesn't say.
But it doesn't matter because you'll probably find that it does have more viewers than most things like that. The only ones where it probably doesn't is like the World Cup because everyone
there's no way it's being
because it is like sports terms. It just has its following, and once it has its following, they're viewing. So it's just about what its following is. Because it's on the internet, it probably is easy to get a bigger following.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it has a bigger following than a lot of sports. Like to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of just the way it's going.
What takes it to the next level?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I don't know. Well, I suppose as the technology gets better, like AI probably. I mean, not AI, virtual reality. I think virtual reality might take it to the next level. It depends. It depends if they get it good enough. Because if it's glitchy and stuff, then people won't like it. But if you,
so is that why it can never compare to the real sport? Because also as well, if it gets like that, there's still human error. But what I find is with games, if you get good on a game, like League, you don't get as much errors.
Yeah, you probably don't get as much. Nah, you still have a lot of errors, bro. Still human error. Yeah, you still do some dumb shit sometimes. You could be really like some of the best players fuck up all the time. So it's the same. It's like you see some of the best footballers fuck up. It's the same thing. It's mad. We can go on for days about how many similarities there is. I mean,
every game of football is different. Every game's different. You can normally it's different, but it's not. You can sort of predict how it's like patterns. Games. It's like if a team goes 2-0 up, if they make it 3-0, it's game done. If they make it 2-1, the chances of the team made it 2-1 if it's good time, they're probably the momentum will shift. They're getting things like that. You can predict, but you still can't. Like, is gaming predictable?
No, not at all.
Always different.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at the winners of the World Championship over all the seasons that League of Legends been out, or like CS:GO or anything like that, shooters, like they're all like there might be some champions for a bit, like maybe a few years, 2 years, 3 years, but then it changes after that.
So do you think gaming's gonna sort of get more TV coverage? Get more like popular on social media. Get more popular with the non-gamers. Because like I'm interested. I used to like watching you play League, and because we spoke about it now, I'd probably will go have a look at a couple.
Yeah.
And then you never know.
It's hard to say. It depends how easy a game is to understand. Like, I think one of the reasons why Fortnite blew up so much is because it's quite easy to understand. You just build shit and shoot each other. You know what I mean? So it's quite easy to understand what's going on. I mean, there's a lot more advanced stuff to Fortnite, like, than just building and shooting. There's still more. There's little techniques and stuff you can do, and little strategies. I mean, yeah, it depends what games we're talking about. I mean, if you start getting games like, let's say FIFA starts going on to virtual reality and it's like sick, it's like pretty much feels so realistic and stuff like that. I reckon stuff like that would be viewed by anyone. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's more understandable. It's easy to understand. Whereas nowadays, like League of Legends, if you try and understand League of Legends just by watching,
I was going to take that FIFA again though. That's a game based on a real sport, so it's easier to sort of get.
Yeah.
Like someone said to me, we are going to do the FIFA thing that I said, like a Premier League, and it's the same. And they said, and the games are going to be 90 minutes long.
Oh my fucking God, Jesus Christ.
Play like proper football. I'd probably be more likely to watch it than if it was
crazy.
10-minate FIFA games. Do you know what I mean?
Playing FIFA for 90 minutes, man.
90-minute game. Be high scoring. Probably be high scoring, but at the same time, that you learn to make it tight. You probably would still get them odd 0-0s. You just never know.
Yeah.
But it's because it's very similar to a real sport. Will a game that's just a game? Because even shooters, army people might like playing shooters because it reminds me of when they were in the army and war. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Will a game that's like League of Legends that's just It's just a game. It's not based on anything. It's not based on real life. It's not based on a real sport. It's just a game. It's its own concept that people have got competitive with. Will that get big enough to like be on TV and get a following of people that can understand it but don't play it? But is it entertaining?
Yeah,
can
as
it
long
be
as
entertaining? Because sports can be really. Like I said, people love them wow moments and them shock moments. Even if you don't understand, like you said with the shoot, if you see something good, you think, yeah, that's good. Does League of Legends have that where you think, oh my god?
Nah, to
But
be
someone
honest.
who doesn't fully know think, wow, that was quite impressive.
Nah, to be honest, like if you don't understand League, if you've never played it in your entire life, like there's no fucking way you know what's going on. Like it's to be honest, I am surprised it's so big. I know it's big because it's a good game and it's like I say, it's you never get to the point where there's hardly any room for improvement. There's always loads of room for improvement. Like a lot of games get boring because they're just too easy. You get to you've been playing it for like a month and you're already like, you can't really improve too much. Do you know what I mean? Whereas this game you can just keep so. But yeah, going back to what you say, I just don't think, not with League, because it's too hard to understand.
So what does gaming need to do then? What does gaming need to do to get the respect?
That's a magical question. I don't know. Well, I mean, to be honest, it's already got a lot of respect off a lot of people.
Well, yeah, of course, but I mean to sort of be in that conversation with, because to me, like darts ain't a sport to me. I've even been playing it quite a bit recently with Daryl. It's still not a sport.
Yeah,
chess, good for the mind. To me, it's not a sport.
Yeah.
But me and Mason looked it up. Look up the definition of sport. What's it say? And we looked it up, and we debated whether should the definition of, because he's into his gaming, he likes his gaming. So we then got into should the definition of sport change, or does the definition of sport mean that actually it's not a sport? It is just something else that's competitive that you can get paid for, but it's not a sport. You know, like poker, you get paid for that. You get paid for poker, and it's big tournaments, but it's not sport. Is it just really just something that is competitive, enjoyable, that you can win money on? Like, well, what's it say? What's the definition of a sport?
The definition is an activity involving physical extortion. Wait. Sorry,
physical
guys.
excursions.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm fucking retarded.
Shouldn't say them things.
Well, yeah, sorry.
And what else?
Skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment.
So the second part
is
gaming fits in.
Yeah, it does.
But it's that physical part.
It's
and
the physical.
You know, tapping the keys is physical. But what me and May said, well, but is how it works on your mind? Is that not still physical?
On your mind, it's fucking.
But it's not, because it's on your mind. But
no,
football's not just on the physical side. Sports are on the mind as well. A lot of it is anyone can run around and kick a ball, but it's when you use your mind to think about the tactics and think about what you need to do. It makes it that next level. So really, what we're saying is maybe gaming and poker and all these things are all sports, and the definition of sport needs to change. And it's not actually, it shouldn't be about how physical it is. It's about how skilled it is.
Yeah. Because to be fair, like anyone who doesn't do like competitive gaming and doesn't understand like. But then maybe when people go mad and stuff like that, like let me tell you now, when you're gaming, like when you're just chilling and you're just pissing about on FIFA and you're just having fun, like it ain't the same as when, I don't know, you're playing a competitive match. There's some prize money on the line. Let's say you're gonna win. Let's say you were that kid, right? Booger. I don't know his real name, but Booger, the guy who won Fortnite World Championship. Yeah, he was in his last game and he was like, God knows how many points ahead. Let's say he was only 1 point ahead, right? And that last game, he had to stay on top, so he had to have a good game. He had to have a strong finish. Can you imagine how the hell you would feel, right, playing that game, for 3 million? For fucking 3 million.
At the same time, you should just, because you've got to that level, you'd feel fine because you just got faith in your talents.
Nah, mate. I'm telling you now. that would be insane pressure.
Yeah, it would be, but you're there for a reason.
But
That's the same as these footballers. They get paid people say, oh, they get paid all that money to do that. But they get paid all that money to deal with the shit and the pressure as well. But they do it, and they know. So he knew there was a chance he was going to be paying for 3 million.
No, of course. But he's nearly he's nearly at the finish line. You know what I mean? You just got to do that extra bit, and it's just like Jesus Christ.
Keep cool, but then you just keep cool, and you think, well, I've got here from doing what I'm doing, so I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing.
Oh, he did, but you could see the pressure, mate. Well, there wasn't too much pressure on him anyway because he was too many points ahead. But
maybe because it's not physical sport, it has to be physical. So gaming's just a skill. It's a competitive skill.
See, like it ain't physical, but the thing is, like I've been, like say for example, I've been like top 2% or top 1% in the world for some games, right? When you're playing at that level, it gets fucking intense, man. Like I'm sweating and everything. You know what I mean? Proper sweating, my heart's beating.
Yeah, from the concentration and stuff.
And then like let's say like I don't know, playing like Counter-Strike or Valorant, and you're like one person left against like 4 people, and you need to clutch the round. Clutches when you like kill them all basically, like by yourself. Basically clutched around. It's insane pressure, man. Insane pressure. And another thing, people on the internet are twats. Like if you fuck up, they will let you know about it.
Yeah, but it's the same with sports these days because of social media. They're all open to it now. I mean, for me, I'd just say for gaming to be taken more seriously as a proper sport, it needs to just be more open to everyone who puts the hours in and is very good.
Yeah.
A lot of good footballers don't make it. A lot of good sportsmen don't make it. But you still have a lot that do. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in gaming, it's rare. There's just not many. It needs to be more open to everyone can't make it. You should be able to. You shouldn't have to get a high rank. You should be able to enter tournaments just based on you backing yourself.
Oh, you could enter like little local, like for example, for example in Birmingham, there's a little tournament. Well, there's tournaments at like in this event called Insomnia, and basically it's just a gaming convention, but like there's tournaments there and stuff like that.
And then what happens if you win one of them? Do you go into another tournament?
You might get some free tickets to the convention next year or something. I don't know.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. You should be able to win that and go to another tournament to win. It needs to.
There probably is in Korea and China and America. There probably will be stuff like that.
Yeah, it needs to happen everywhere.
It's just not here. That's what I mean. England's lagging a bit behind on the whole esports thing, really.
Why?
I don't know, to be honest. I'll have to get
small country.
I suppose like there's just less English gamers than there are any other. Well, nah, to be honest, there are. I do see a lot of like English.
Exactly. Nah, there are a lot. This is saying so.
Yeah.
Chance. This is what I'm saying. So why couldn't you just say to a League of Legends players, let's just make a team, work our way up together, and enter these tournaments? And
in fact, I'm pretty sure on League of Legends now there is something like that.
And they've obviously seen that's what they need to do to take it to the next level, be reachable for everyone, because it's still kind of not reachable. More people are going to try because I believe they can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The thing is, though, I don't think because all the good players this is just using like League of Legends as an example. Obviously, there's going to be different games that come out in the future. There's going to be different esports scenes. But I don't think you'd be able to start a game, for example, in this a team, for example, in this system they've got going on, and then make it all the way to the top without your team splitting up. Because if you're good enough, you're going to get scouted, you're going to get offered hella money by one of the big organizations already, and you're just going to end up leaving that team. That's just the way it's going to work. There's no chance that you're going to start from the bottom.
Exactly, the game, and that's not because of the game. That's not because of them organizations. That's because of the way the structure of the game is. So they need to structure the whole thing differently to stop that from happening.
I just don't see how you would though.
pumping more of their own money into it.
I don't see how you would though, bro.
Leagues, like create like a European, create like an England league, European league. Bro, look at other sports, for example, and sort of see what you can take from them.
No, but that's like saying, yeah. So Liverpool's a play like. Let's go. What was you saying here? Like Shrewsbury, for example. Yeah, Shrewsbury could make it as a big team. Yeah, fair enough. But that's like saying that somebody could just make some random ass team that's not even named after anywhere, and then make it all the way to the Premier League without getting. If they were so good, wouldn't their players just get scouted by these bigger teams anyway and split the whole team up?
Yeah, so they do it by pumping their own money in. It's the whole infrastructure. So what I mean, the esports world needs to pump their own money into it to make it grow, and then So, bro, I could start a football team, in Telford and call it AFC Trench.
Yeah.
And as long as over the years, as I climbed through the leagues, I sort of pumped my own money to it to get it to the standards you need, sort of ground-wise, could end up in the Premier League. Quite unlikely, but it happened. Like Bournemouth have just been relegated from the Premier League after 5 years. 10 years ago, they were in the 2 leagues above Telford. It happened.
Yeah,
Saying it does. Yeah, you have to pump money into it. It takes time, but that's why people love them as well. And that's what gaming needs to do.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, maybe I'm not as clued up as I think, and maybe they already are doing stuff like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It needs to be more like accessible to everyone to have a chance of making it, so that more people try to make it, so it just grows. But then, because more people try to make it, more people will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it is growing in that way, to be fair. If you look 5 years back, nobody was trying to be an esports gamer. Look at now, everybody fucking wants to do it. Well, all the younger kids want to do it.
This is what I was saying to you. Do you think it's going to take over? Because do you think more kids are now going to see what you can do? So the more kids when they're younger are going to, instead of saying I want to be a footballer, they're going to say I want to be an esports player.
I'd say there's definitely a massive shift of that going on. Like from the kids that I've seen.
Football's a tough one because it's got so much money into it. But like sports like that aren't as popular, will they go extinct? Because more people think I can't bother to play that because I'm not likely to make it. I'll just sit at home and play my Xbox or my PC. Make that.
It's hard
Football's
to say.
Football's different because there is a dangle of money there if you make it baller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a sport where it is just for the love. You might just love game. More people might just love gaming.
Yeah.
Oh well. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I mean it's the way technology's going as well. I mean a lot of kids I remember I used to live up in St. George's. There's like 2 ditches near my house. I used to play in them all the time. You know what I mean? I'd have I was a gamer when I was a kid too, but I'd go out and play in these ditches with my friends and stuff like that.
Kids don't really do that these days.
Yeah, they some of them do, but that's what I'm saying. There's a shift going on, whereas there's a lot more kids nowadays. They'll stay in and play games, or they'll sit on their iPad, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a shift going on now, and I feel like because of that shift, there'll be more people.
And because of that shift, we're stopping because that is a good way to lead, I think, into the podcast that we're going to do with that guy about the conspiracies. Because is gaming another way of sort of taking over the minds, making people more wanting to stay in, less physically active? People think in the future we're all going to end up small with big heads because we use our bodies less and our brains more.
It's definitely going that way.
And so is technology sort of, is this meant to be happening to the kids? Maybe they don't want them to have that. Like we used to be free and out, and they don't want that anymore. Oh, let's give them all these wicked games they can play, and these wicked consoles, and show them that actually, if you just sit in and game, you can make loads of money that way instead of going out and playing sports or going out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a way of control.
Who knows?
There you go. But yeah, I can't listen to no more of this gaming talk.
Yeah, honestly, like I could go. Obviously, as you lot can tell, I could go on about it for another 5 hours or so.
I have to stop you before it goes too long.
I've literally touched on a fraction of it, to be fair.
That's what I mean. I felt like we were just sort of That's what I said. Just go with your notes on the flow because we're just branching, coming back. You can't limit yourself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I should have structured it a bit better, I suppose. But it was all right.
No, you got points across. People need to like. People need to subscribe. People need to share and comment. The football podcast is going to come soon. We're going to figure out how we're going to do that. And like we got a guy. His name is Jay. His name's Jay. He's from Wolverhampton. He's big into conspiracies. Touched on it in a mini video. If you see. I said I don't really want to know what he talks about. I'd rather him just surprise us both with the podcast. We'll see how that goes.
That's going to be interesting.
Going to be interesting. We might not agree with what the type of things that he thinks.
Yeah.
And we might, but I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And we need to start pushing. We need not pushing, but start getting other people involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching, to be fair, if you're watching this and you want to talk about something, just let us know.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Enlighten us. I don't know a lot about esports, and Reese just spoke to me about esports. I want to be educated. Reese wants to be educated. If you've got something you want to talk to us about, let us know. But
in fact, as well, if you want us to talk about anything as well, let us know in the comments.
Let us know. We'll do some research.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll give an opinion. A friend said to me today, a good one, we need to talk about masks. Do you want to talk about masks at the end of this one, or are we going to do another podcast? Because I don't know if we should start now because it's very confusing. There's a lot. Yeah, we're not now. Guys,
I'm not talking about masks.
Next podcast, I'll tell you what, next podcast, if we even have this J guy on, we'll talk about masks. We'll do that. We can do that weekend. Because this mask situation is very confusing. Even today, I've been to a petrol station and I've gone to go in without my mask, and I thought, oh, actually, forgot my mask. It's in the car. I'll come and pay at the window. And the woman working in the petrol station wearing a mask is like, "Don't be silly, just come in."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because it is silly.
Okay. She's in a mask.
No, I know, but she probably doesn't want to wear it.
I was in the shop the other day, and the workers aren't wearing masks. I'm like, "Why? You're here all day. I'm here for 10 minutes. Why aren't you in a mask?" But I am. Let's stop. Right, we're stopping.
Yeah,
goodbye, people.
We'll end up going on.
Stay safe. We'll talk about masks next time.
Yep.